Hello, beautiful people of the internet. In this video, I shall share my experience of writing, illustrating, and publishing my own children's book because I already put in a lot of time and effort into creating the actual book, so I thought why not just share my experience because there has been so many things that I learned throughout the process, and I feel like this video would sort of be helpful for those who are considering publishing. So my story starts off showing this young boy who fails a lot but would really like to do well in his volleyball team to make his father and coach proud of him, and also he would like to prove himself to his teammates and show that he is a valuable member of the team. He goes on to explain how he feels like he makes everyone disappointed, and after each failed game, he explains how everyone will look disappointed in him or laugh at him, and he goes on to explain that his father or coach would tell him that it's okay if he fails, but he can see the disappointment in their eyes. And he also explains how he wishes how he could be like Yamato, who is this big, successful volleyball player. Fast forward within the story, he actually, during his birthday, gets a gift from his mom, and the gift is a ticket to see Yamato play volleyball. And the boy gets super excited because not only does he get to see his idol in action, but he also gets to meet his idol during the meet and greet at the end of the game. So, during the game, Yamato does amazing and really well. During the meet and greet, the boy asks, "Yamato, how are you always so perfect in every game?" And then Yamato smiles and then answers, "Kid, there's no such thing as perfection, only improvement." And then the boy asks, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And then Yamato answers, "Well, in middle school, I used to be the worst one on my team until I took things serious by practicing more and learning from my failed attempts. The key to success is learning from your failure. You will never be good at anything the first time. You have to keep failing and learning, and even if it takes like several times, you have to just keep trying and trying." So the young boy gets really inspired by this and gets to understand that failure should not be seen as something totally negative, but rather something positive to learn from to strengthen his skills and abilities. So he starts practicing a lot, and he also tries to learn from his failed attempts by asking the security guy if he could watch some of the recordings of each game that he played in so that he can see what he's doing wrong. And of course, the security guy allowed him, and this actually ended up helping him tremendously. So after a couple of weeks of practicing and learning from his failed attempts, he actually does win a game for his team, and the feeling is just so amazing for him to make everybody around him proud. So the moral of the story is to teach children to just embrace failure as a learning opportunity, because there really isn't a such thing as perfection, only improvement. And I feel like in today's society, children are almost pressured to be perfect, and again, there's no such thing as perfection. You really have to keep failing a lot and learn from those mistakes, because that is the only thing that's going to strengthen you and make you the best in whatever that you want to be good at. Okay, so this is the paperback of my published book through Kdp. I did publish the hardcover of the book through Ingram Spark, but I won't be able to review it yet just because it's taking time for them to actually ship it to me. So perhaps I will give it a review in a separate video if people will want me to. But anyways, this is how it looks like. Here's the inside. So some of the things I noticed is that the pages are somewhat sort of glossy in a way, which I do kind of like, and I am satisfied with the quality. I always heard that publishing through KDP, the quality is usually always good quality, but when you publish through Ingram Spark, sometimes it can either be like really great or not so great. Like, I heard mixed reviews about that, so I am kind of nervous about the hardcover of the book. Like, hopefully it's great and there's nothing wrong. Some of the things that I learned while publishing on KDP was that you actually have to have the pages, for whatever size, you have to have the pages slightly larger so that they can do sort of a trim cut. I had no idea. So when I was creating, this is like an 8.5 by 11 page book, so I ended up having to make, instead of it being 8.5 by 11, I ended up having to make it slightly larger. I forget the exact size, but if I remember it, I will, during editing, add it onto the screen of the video. But anyways, I found this out kind of late, and then I kind of had to redraw some of the images, well, a lot of the images, and I had to resize things, and it was in a way kind of frustrating because it took time to redo some of these, and it would have been very helpful had I known that the page size had to be slightly larger. I did know that there had to be like a bleed so that there's not like a white edge around the page, and so that the whole page is kind of fitting my image. But I had no idea that I had to add like an extra like surrounding for my page. But I am kind of glad with the quality. It is like a book that I spent a lot of time and effort into creating, and it is something that means a lot to me. So far, I haven't, it's been like a month or a month and a half-ish, and I have not yet gotten any customers, but I do understand as a first-time publisher that it is hard, like you won't get customers right away, which is frustrating. Hopefully I do, and I hope that the people who are buying it like wanna actually help their children or like other children understand that there's no such thing as perfection, only improvement. And I wouldn't want anyone who's like watching this video just to get it to make me feel good. Don't do that. Only get it if you need the book and want to teach your children, or if you have a friend who has a child who would like to learn more about embracing failure and using it as a tool to improving themselves, to becoming great in whatever they would like to be good at, then yeah, get the book. But don't get the book because you feel bad for me, because I understand as a first-time publisher that it won't be easy to actually get people who will actually need your book. So totally understand that, and I'm not mad or anything. Like, it's something I knew that is a thing. And if you noticed, a lot of the characters that I created or illustrated, they are in a realistic style just because I struggle with creating a cartoon look. I would have preferred creating a cartoon look. However, I'm not necessarily the best at illustrating cartoons. Like, oh my goodness, I know it might sound easy or simple or a lot simpler than doing something realistic, but just because I spent almost all my life creating realistic illustrations, that I found it hard to create cartoon looking illustrations just because I'm so used to adding so much detail. So when I start creating something cartoon looking, I just struggle so much, and then it just ends up looking weird and like, so that's why I did a realistic look. I get that some people may not like that. I wish that I could have freaking did a cartoon style, but I tried, okay? Like, I really did try my best. But what's most important is the message within the book, so I feel like my message is a pretty good one. Now, some of the advice that I have for publishing on KDP and Ingram Spark is that make sure you please publish first on KDP, because if there's any errors or like different format that you have to do and redo more than once, then it's best to do it on KDP because you can do that for free. But on Ingram Spark, if you want to make any adjustments, then you do kind of have to pay an extra $50 fee, even if it's like a small improvement. They do have an electric e-proof where you can click on that and kind of make double sure if you like the format. And I guess that if you click approve, then that kind of indicates to them that you're totally satisfied with the book. But there is a problem where, like, what if, for example, the cover of your book, there's like an error where, like, when they print it out, it's like weird looking, and you only find that out once it gets mailed to you and you will see the mistake, and then you're like, I want to improve it. And it's kind of like a small improvement where you might have to just do a really small, like, formatting kind of edit, and you can't necessarily do that for free like on KDP, and you'll have to probably definitely spend the extra $50 or $49 just to make these small improvements. So I personally highly recommend do publishing on KDP and like keep improving your book, because then once you're done like adding all the improvements and making it the way that you want it to be and you're totally 100% satisfied with it, then you can move on over to Ingram Spark. And yeah, you can publish both on KDP and Ingram Spark. Some people are confused about that and wonder, well, am I only allowed to publish through one platform? The answer is not necessarily, because as long as you are the publisher, then you can publish on multiple platforms. So definitely, if you're going to be the publisher, publish on KDP first, and then you can move on over to Ingram Spark. Like, I definitely recommend you do that, especially if you're a first-time author. I'm not going to review the Ingram Spark book yet because I don't have it yet. I'm still waiting for it to be shipped to me. I'm not sure when I'm going to get it, but yeah, those are some of the things that I learned through the process of publishing. I guess my biggest mistake was formatting. Like, my biggest mistake was the format, where again I didn't know that I had to make the pages slightly larger just so they can make a trim. Yeah, it was kind of frustrating. I did fix that. The story was actually not that hard to come up with because some of it is kind of like personal. Like, I feel like if you're coming up with a story, it's a lot easier if it's like something personal, and for me this was personal just because I had failed a lot in life and I never really had anyone to tell me that, hey, it's okay to fail. You just need to use that failure to learn from your mistakes and understand what you're doing wrong so that you can improve yourself to becoming better in whatever that you want to be good at. And if you guys were wondering, the paperback on Amazon, I'm charging $12.75, and If you're wondering how much I would make from that, well, through KDP, I would get maybe between $3 to $4 about. Yeah, I think $3 to $4. Hardcover book. I'm selling it for $17 and I think 75 cents, and from that I should make maybe between $2 to $3. Again, if I'm wrong, I'll put that on the screen of this video and tell you the actual amount. But anyways, that's kind of it for this video. I kind of went through the whole little process that I had. I explained about what my story is about, and I told you like my ups and downs. So far I am kind of really satisfied with my children's book from publishing through KDP. I'm not yet sure about Ingram Spark because again, I didn't receive the book yet, so I can't really say much about Ingram Spark. But definitely, if you are planning on publishing a children's book or any kind of book in general for the first time and you're nervous, I highly still recommend that you go for it. And yes, it might take a lot of time and effort, but I still highly recommend you go for it, because if you're passionate about something, then I feel like if you put in all your effort, then you will be successful. Yes, it will take time and you will have to promote it a lot just to get buyers. For me, I am struggling, and as I mentioned, I haven't yet received any buyers, but don't let that discourage you. Like, my experience and everybody else's experience are different. So just because I'm not doing well doesn't mean that you won't do well. I feel like anybody is capable of being successful as long as they put in the effort. So that being said, thank you for watching this video. I hope that some of the things that I mentioned are helpful to you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.